I hope all of you are able to see my screen.
Yes, so we can.
Great. Yeah, great. So, hello everyone. I am Sanuj Mittal, and I lead business strategy and growth initiatives at ANRA Technologies for the markets in India and some of the other developing nations in the region. It's a pleasure talking to you all today in the first international conference on rules in development. Today, I'm going to talk to you about us as in a company, ANRA Technologies, our engagements in UTM and advanced air mobility space, and also about our vision for this industry. So to begin with, we as a company are 6 years old. We are an international autonomous aircraft company, and our expertise lies in providing turnkey solutions covering UTM, UM, and airspace management services to enable safe and reliable drone operations. We have offices in India, US, UK, and we are planning to open a couple of more offices in 2 different countries over the next few months. And when it comes to our client engagement, we have clients pretty much across the globe. So we are a company that has been engaged in the airspace management since inception. In fact, we are the only company in the world who is supporting NASA in all of their advanced air mobility campaigns. And we've also engaged with NASA for their UTM technical capability levels, and we work with NASA for all of the 4 technical capability levels. In addition, we are engaged with FAA for the UTM pilot program for BVLOS trials in US. And we also performed the stress test for FAA, wherein we simulated more than 50,000 drones simultaneously on the UTM using a smart sky tool. And the whole objective of that was to test the navigation, the deconfliction, the surveillance, and other related aspects from that experiment. Moving to the countries on the European side, we are working on an open access framework for Department of Transport, UK government. We are also involved in some of the other activities, such as deployment of nationwide network remote ID for the government of Switzerland. And we are doing a lot of work related to UAM demos in the European Union. Then moving to Asia, we have a very strong presence in India. In fact, we made aviation history by flying the first permitted BVLOS flight, drone flight, for Government of India as part of their BVLOS trials. In fact, we led 2 of the 3 consortiums permitted by Government of India for the use cases related to commercial and humanitarian reasons. In addition, we also participated in the Medicines from the Sky project, which was led by Indian government in collaboration with World Economic Forum, NITI Aayog, and a couple of more agencies. We are also honored to be the domain expert in the deployment of nationwide UTM platform, which is called as Digital Sky. As compared to other players, what I feel is that we have the distinction of coming in this industry from an inside-out perspective. So, for instance, our CEO, Mr. Amit Kanju, is a board member of Global UTM Association. He's a part of ICAO Trust Framework. He co-chairs ASPN for UTM and UM. He's also a member of FAA's Drone Advisory Committee. Similarly, there are other team members on the board who are members of the Association for Unmanned Aerial Vehicles and FAA Aviation Tool Making Committee. So I mentioned all of this because we feel that we are dealing with complex operations which need to be safe and regulated. And somebody coming from an outside-in perspective may not be able to appreciate the criticality of these aspects. Also, we are not trying to solve an IT problem here. There are things more than that, and for which you need strong aviation capabilities. Hence, the experience that we possess makes us distinct not only in terms of the technological expertise, but also from the perspective of conceptual expertise. Now, if we talk about airspace management, there are a lot of discussions and speculations related to small UAVs in very low level space. But as things to evolve in medium to long term, we are going to transition from this very low level space to mixed space, which will be carrying cargoes and eventually humans also between and within the cities. As a result of the nature of operations and the change requirements in future, our traditional airports are going to change. We are going to have virtual dynamic highways in the sky instead of having fixed highways on the road. And we are also going to move from 2D to 3D and to 4D in some cases to deconflict these highways in space and time. So the vehicles of future, we personally think, would not have wheels, There'll be electrical and hybrid VTOLs, which will help us in moving to and fro between the rooftops, between the parking lots, or maybe the balconies of the designated buildings. This leads us to a next question, that to make this a reality, are existing systems adequate? If you now look at the legacy system, which is our air traffic control for manned aircraft, vis-a-vis a scenario wherein in the medium to long term, the number of unmanned aircraft are going to be several times. So the existing system with a human in loop doesn't scale in the unmanned space. We would need an automated, self-driven system to manage this traffic in a dynamic and quick manner. And just like we have traffic rules for the road, similarly, we are going to have procedures and protocols in place for the sky operations to deconflict the drones in space and time, so that no two drones conflict with each other, and at the same time, all the safety-related and regulatory requirements are being met. So here's our vision, how we see this ecosystem evolving. Presently, as you would see, we are in the crawl phase, and there are three different layers. The topmost layer is the UTM layer, which is capturing the UAV traffic. Then the bottommost layer is the ATC, which is capturing legacy manned aircraft traffic. Right, and in the middle, you would see ATC and UTM playing a part to handle UAM or flying cars. Now, as we transition from crawl to run phase, to walk phase, we envisage there will be a new system called UAM Plus, which will be able to handle all the unmanned traffic. And that would be able to also decouple the requirement for a deep integration of UAM traffic into the ATC system. And eventually, when we move to run phase, maybe 10 or 15 years from now, the ATC system that we know as of today would not exist. So we envisage a new system called ATM Plus, which would have the capabilities of the ATC and the UM Plus, a single system which will be able to handle both the manned and unmanned traffic. So you would appreciate that to make all of this reality, a lot of aspects need to be focused upon. It could be the aircraft or the drones, could be the related infrastructure, airspace management, and ancillary services. So what we focus on is providing software solutions for managing your end-to-end drone operations. And on the slide, you'll see a family of solutions offered by ANRA Technologies. All of the engagements and activities related to development of policies, regulations, feed into the development of these solutions. And as you would see, that there are two broad verticals of the solutions we are offering. The first one is the ASPS Management CTR, which is a pure play airspace management software. And this is the same software which is used by NASA for their Advanced Air Mobility campaign. And the other one is the Mission Manager, which is basically designed for integrating all the unmanned assets with the existing workflow of an enterprise. So this is more like a centralized platform for storing mission-related information like the fleet details, maintenance requirement, pilot tracking, data analytics, which are generally required for planning and executing a mission. And on the right side, you would see some premium features. These are more of a value-added features that we have to provide additional information to the users to better manage their drone operations. In this slide, I'm going to talk about the Smart Sky CTR in a little detail. As you would see, the bubbles around the Smart Skies CTR node. So each of these bubbles represent a microservice. And our platform is developed in a manner that these bubbles, these microservices can be plugged, unplugged, or customized as per the requirements. So for instance, the requirements around the registration of a drone might be different in India as compared to US, right? And similarly, the geocaching or the geofencing prescriptions being made by the government might be different in one country as compared to another. So our system provides it flexibility. Any of the requirements, any of the microservices can be customized as necessary. Yeah, with this, we come to the end of the presentation. So I've tried to give you a high-level overview of where we stand in the evolution of this industry, how things are likely to unfold in future, and how we as a company are contributing to the development of this industry. I hope this was useful for all of you to understand the UAM. Thank you so much, and would be happy to have any questions that you may have.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. Now everyone can post their questions, comments, and compliments in the chat box. Until then, sir, there's a question. So, as presently drones are seen as a threat to aircrafts, talking in terms of safety, because sometimes they can have a negative impact. So, do you think they can coexist in the coming future as a part of the UTM and ATC getting combined?
Amit, yes, definitely. We very strongly feel this is possible, and all of us are working actually towards that mission only. Even if you look at the existing framework given by the central government, therein they talk about the space being divided into three different zones. So red zone, yellow zone, and green zone. So just for the information of everyone, so red zone is something wherein you simply cannot fly your drone. Yellow zone is something wherein you can get the approvals, and green zone is clear. You don't need any approvals to fly your drone. So as of now, the government is also conservative because frankly, the UTM is not so mature, not so evolved, and not so well implemented that the operations related to manned and unmanned aircraft can be taken up simultaneously. So that's why the red zone is defined in a manner that doesn't bring us to a case wherein there could be a conflict between a manned and an unmanned aircraft. So for instance, the red zone is approximately around 8 kilometers from the airport. So the government is taking that conservative approach, right? And similarly, all of these drone operations are allowed only in very low level space at the moment, which is about 60 meters to 120 meters from the ground level. So as we mature, as we evolve, definitely these technologies would become stronger, and also we'll learn from what we are implementing, and we'll be in a position wherein both, and in fact, I would say the UAMs and the UAVs and the manned aircraft would exist together.
Thank you, sir, for the answer. There's another question. So let's say we are talking about the UTM and the ATC. So presently, people are familiar with the ATC, but not so familiar with the UTM. Would you just remove the ambiguity between both of them?
Yeah, sure. So ATC is air traffic control, right? Which is a manned system used for the navigation for the surveillance of the manned aircraft. This is a system being used globally. In some of the countries, this system is used by the central government, or rather maintained by the central government, and in some of the countries, this system is privatized. Why we are able to use this system is that the number of aircraft that we are talking about is not so high in number. It can be controlled by humans, right? UTM is your UAV traffic management, and UAV is your unmanned aerial vehicle. So UTM system is basically for UAVs meant for low-level airspace, and that's an automated system which can dynamically allocate you or provide you virtual highways, and can help you in deconflicting those highways, and can provide point-to-point details of where the drone is to the ground station system. So that's broadly how these systems are, and how they will be used. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So are there any more questions?
I guess we can move the questions to the chat now. Thank you so much, Sanuj, for being a part of our conference, for sharing your insights, for sharing your applications that you have been doing. And we are, of course, a huge fan of what ANRA does. And we are absolutely grateful for you to be here. Everyone, be in touch with Sanuj, get in touch with him on email, on LinkedIn, continue the conversations on chat. And we really look forward to working with you in the future, Sanuj. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Ruchi. Thank you for hosting this, and it was a pleasure to be here today. And thank you, everyone, for being a lovely audience. Thank you so much.